The warning unheeded. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as senior xenopsychologist Telvin approached the speaking platform. Her four slender arms were positioned in the formal stance of grave concern, the bioluminescent patterns across her pale blue skin pulsing with urgency. Representatives from over 700 spacefaring civilizations watched as the chamber's hovering translation orbs positioned themselves to relay her words in real time. Distinguished representatives, Telvin began, her melodic voice carrying throughout the massive hall. Our deep space reconnaissance has confirmed the discovery of another intelligent species in the Orion Arm. They call themselves humans and inhabit the third planet of a yellow star they named Sol. Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing images of Earth, blue oceans, green and brown continents, swirling white clouds. The imagery shifted to human cities, infrastructure, and military installations. While their technology remains primitive by our standards, they have yet to achieve interstellar travel. Our analysis of their historical and behavioral patterns has led to an unprecedented recommendation. Telvin paused, her skin glowing more intensely. The Xenopsychological Assessment Division unanimously proposes classifying Sol 3 as a restricted access world under the Council's highest protection protocols. Murmurs spread through the assembly. Restricted access designations were exceedingly rare, typically reserved for worlds harboring species of unique evolutionary importance or civilizations that posed existential dangers to galactic stability. A massive figure rose from the delegation of the Vraxian Empire. High Commander Krex, his armored exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's lights, clicked his mandibles in what his species considered laughter. A primitive, pre-interstellar species warrants such extreme measures. His translator conveyed, the mocking tone perfectly rendered. The Vraxian Empire has encountered and incorporated dozens of such civilizations. What possible justification exists for this classification? Telvin's luminescence dimmed slightly, the equivalent of narrowing her eyes. Unlike most of her Selvari kind who avoided conflict studies, she had devoted centuries to analyzing warfare behaviors across species. The justification, High Commander, is that humans represent a unique psychological profile we've never encountered in our exploration of the galaxy. The holographic displays shifted to show human conflicts throughout history, ancient battles, modern wars, resistance movements. Unlike rational species that calculate the costs of continued resistance, humans often fight hardest when victory seems most impossible. They possess cultural mechanisms for sustaining conflicts across generations, passing grievances to descendants who never experienced the original harm. The displays showed guerrilla fighters outmaneuvering larger forces, resistance movements surviving against overwhelming odds, and isolated human groups adapting to extreme conditions. Most concerning is their response to existential threats, Telvin continued. When faced with superior force, instead of negotiation or submission, humans demonstrate unprecedented rates of technological advancement driven specifically by warfare requirements. Their entire history is marked by this pattern. High Commander Krex's mandibles clicked rapidly in derision. You suggest these fragile beings. He gestured at an image of unarmored humans, with their soft exteriors and chemical propellant weapons, pose a threat to modern civilizations, to the Vraxian battle fleets. I suggest, Telvin replied evenly, that any species who attacks humans will face consequences they cannot predict. Our simulations indicate a 97.3% probability that human survivors would dedicate their entire civilization to retribution, potentially for centuries. They conceptualize this as never forgetting, and our historical record confirms this behavior consistently. The Council Elder, a wispy being of pure energy contained within a crystalline vessel, floated forward. The recommendation stands. The humans should be left to develop independently until they achieve interstellar capabilities, at which point proper diplomatic protocols can be established. The vote was called. While most civilizations supported the recommendation, the Vraxian Empire and several of its allied states registered formal objections, citing restrictions on resource acquisition rights in the Orion sector. 3 standard months later, aboard the Vraxian command vessel Inevitable Dominance, High Commander Krex reviewed the invasion plans. 32 battleships and over 200 support vessels had been assembled, far more than necessary for subjugating a pre-interstellar world, but Krex was thorough to a fault. The Council's warnings are baseless, he told his assembled war leaders, mandibles clicking decisively. Our analysis shows humans are divided into nearly 200 political entities with incompatible military systems. They have no unified planetary defense. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Lax, appeared less certain. Commander, perhaps we should consider the xenopsychologist's assessment. The Selvari rarely involve themselves in military matters. If this Telvan felt compelled to speak, the Selvari mistake compassion for wisdom. Krex interrupted. The Empire needs the resources of Sol 3, and Emperor Vrax will not be denied due to superstitious fears about primitives. He activated the tactical display showing Earth's major population centers and military installations. We will follow standard conquest protocols. Simultaneous strikes on military command structures, followed by targeted population center attacks to demonstrate our power. Experience shows most species surrender after witnessing destruction of their 3 largest cities. The plan was comprehensive. The Vraxians had conquered 23 worlds using similar strategies, always with minimal losses. Earth would be no different. Deployment begins in 4 standard cycles, Krex announced. Ready your battle groups. As the commanders dispersed, Sub-Commander Lax lingered, mandibles working nervously. Commander, I've reviewed the human historical records provided by Council Intelligence. Their responses to aggression are unusual. Noted, Sub-Commander. Krex replied dismissively. But remember, no species has ever withstood the Vraxian Empire for long. The Vraxian vessels emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their obsidian hulls absorbing sunlight rather than reflecting it. 32 capital ships positioned themselves strategically around Earth, while smaller vessels established orbital dominance. For 22 minutes they remained silent, allowing human detection systems to register their presence. On Earth, chaos erupted. Emergency sirens wailed across cities worldwide. Military forces scrambled fighter jets that seemed absurdly small against the alien vessels. World leaders were rushed to secure locations. High Commander Krex stood on a command deck of the Inevitable Dominance, satisfaction evident in his posture. Begin the demonstration, he ordered. The first strikes targeted military installations, air bases, naval ports, missile silos. Precision energy weapons carved destruction across Earth's surface. Next came government centers, Washington, D.C., Beijing, Moscow, and other capitals faced devastating attacks from orbit. When the initial barrage ended, Krex opened a planet-wide transmission. People of Earth, the translation appeared on every functioning electronic device. I am High Commander Krex of the Vraxian Empire. Your world now belongs to us. Surrender your remaining military forces and prepare for occupation. Resistance will bring only further destruction. The response was not what he expected. Instead of capitulation, Earth's fragmented nations united with surprising speed. Emergency protocols established a global defense coordination center in a hardened facility beneath the Antarctic ice. Military commanders from former enemy nations worked side by side, pooling resources and intelligence. Dr. Maya Chen, formerly head of DARPA's Advanced Propulsion Research, addressed the hastily assembled Global Military Council. They're advanced but not gods. Their weapons use principles we can understand. Their ships emit energy signatures we can track. Give me data from the attacks, and we can find weaknesses. In orbit, High Commander Krex received the humans' formal response, a barrage of nuclear missiles launched from submarines that had survived the initial strikes. While Vraxian defenses easily neutralized the primitive weapons, the attempt at resistance irritated him. Deploy ground forces, he commanded. Secure the primary resource extraction zones. The first Vraxian troops landed near major mineral deposits and water sources. Their powered armor and energy weapons made short work of conventional military resistance. Human soldiers, outmatched by alien technology, adapted with alarming speed, abandoning direct confrontation for hit-and-run tactics, using their knowledge of terrain to ambush Vraxian patrols. Sub-Commander Lax's concerned reports began arriving daily. "Commander, the humans are not following expected surrender patterns. They're sacrificing cities to preserve fighting capacity. They're studying our technology from salvaged equipment. They're dying." Krex interrupted, as all who oppose the Vraxians must intensify the attacks. 3 months into the invasion, Vraxian forces controlled 30% of Earth's surface, mainly uninhabited resource-rich areas. Human resistance had coalesced into a surprisingly effective global network. Dr. Chen and her international team of scientists worked relentlessly, reverse engineering Vraxian technology from captured equipment. Their first breakthrough came from analyzing the Vraxian communication systems. By creating precisely targeted electromagnetic pulses that disrupted alien transmissions, human resistance forces could temporarily blind enemy units. The second breakthrough was more significant. Study of a downed Vraxian fighter revealed vulnerabilities in their power distribution systems. Human engineers developed projectile weapons that could penetrate specific points in Vraxian armor, causing catastrophic energy releases. 6 months after the invasion began, the unified Earth forces launched their first major counteroffensive. Commander Ekinwand, formerly of the Nigerian Special Forces, led a desperate mission against the Vraxians' main South American base, using modified aircraft equipped with the new weapons. His forces penetrated Vraxian defenses long enough to deploy a special operations team. As Vraxian reinforcements arrived, the human team detonated explosives strategically placed at the base's power core. The resulting chain reaction destroyed not only the base but 4 Vraxian shuttles still on the ground, the first significant human victory. On the command ship, High Commander Krex received the news with mandibles clicking in fury. How did primitives breach our defensive perimeter? How do they know where to strike? Sub-Commander Lax's response was subdued. "Commander, we may have underestimated human adaptability. The Council's warning." "Deploy the orbital bombardment platforms," Krex interrupted. "It's time to show these humans the full might of the Vraxian Empire." But as the Vraxians prepared their overwhelming response, something unexpected happened. Far beyond Earth's orbit, at the edge of the solar system, a small human spacecraft, cobbled together from pre-invasion technology and what little they had learned from Vraxian wreckage, slipped past the invaders' outer sensor perimeter. On board, a message was recorded by the unified Earth government. "We may fall, but we will not forget. The hunt has begun." The tiny vessel activated its experimental drive and vanished into the darkness between stars, carrying with it humanity's warning to the galaxy and the seeds of vengeance that would grow in the years to come. The hunters become the hunted. 5 years had passed since the Vraxian invasion of Earth. What High Commander Krex had anticipated would be a swift conquest had devolved into the Empire's longest, most costly occupation in its 1,000-year history. The orbital bombardment had destroyed major cities and reduced Earth's population by nearly 2 billion, but it had failed to break human resistance. Instead, it had driven the survivors underground, into vast subterranean complexes and remote wilderness areas where they continued to adapt, innovate, and fight. In a former copper mine 3 kilometers beneath the surface of what had once been Chilla, General Maya Chen, no longer just a scientist, but the leader of humanity's technological resistance, addressed the Global Defense Council. "Project Nemesis is ready," she announced to the assembled military and civilian leaders, her face illuminated by the blue glow of holographic displays. The years of fighting had etched deep lines around her eyes, but they still burned with fierce determination. The display showed schematics of Earth's first true warship, sleek, predatory, and incorporating everything humanity had learned about Vraxian technology. What made the vessel unique wasn't merely its weapons or shields, but its drive system. By reverse engineering the hyperspace propulsion from captured Vraxian scout ships, we've not only matched their FTL capabilities but improved upon them, Chen explained. The Nemesis can track Vraxian energy signatures through hyperspace, something they believe impossible. Admiral Kagawa, commander of what remained of Earth's conventional forces, studied the designs with a practiced eye. How many can we build? With our current resources, we can construct 12 within the next 8 months, Chen replied. But that should be sufficient for our purposes. These aren't designed for direct combat with their fleets. These are hunters. In the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, the atmosphere was tense. An emergency session had been called to address the growing crisis in the Orient sector. The Vraxian representative stood before the assembly, his mandibles clicking anxiously. The Empire demands the Council take action against these human terrorists, he declared. 3 of our outer colony worlds have been attacked. Supply lines have been disrupted. The humans have somehow acquired interstellar capability and are violating all protocols of civilized warfare. Xenopsychologist Telvin, now elevated to senior council advisor, stepped forward. I believe the term you're looking for is resistance fighter, not terrorist, she said calmly. And as for protocols of civilized warfare, need I remind the Assembly that the Vraxian Empire launched an unprovoked attack on a pre-interstellar civilization after explicit warnings about the likely consequences. The energy being serving as council elder floated between them. What is the current status of the Earth occupation? The Vraxian representative's mandibles twitched in what his species considered discomfort. The situation is complex. We control the orbital space and major resource deposits, but resistance continues. Complex, Telvin repeated with evident disdain. You've lost over 300 vessels and nearly 40,000 troops to a species that didn't even have interstellar travel when you attacked them. Now they're hunting you across multiple star systems. I believe the humans would use the term, I told you so. This is precisely our concern, the Vraxian insisted. The humans are demonstrating exactly the irrational, disproportionate response we were warned about. They refuse all communication attempts. They strike without warning and disappear. They leave messages carved into the hulls of disabled ships. Remember Earth. Their behavior confirms they are too dangerous to be allowed interstellar capability. On that point, Telvin said, we agree. They are indeed dangerous to those who attack them. The Council warned you. You disregarded that warning. The consequences are yours to bear. The vote that followed was decisive. The Council would not intervene in what it now classified as a bilateral conflict. The Vraxian Empire was on its own. High Commander Krex stood on the bridge of the inevitable dominance, staring at the holographic display of the Empire's territories. Red indicators flashed across multiple systems, showing human attack sites. His once immaculate armor now bore the scratches and dents of years of continuous command. His mandibles clicked in agitation as he reviewed the latest reports. Another supply convoy destroyed in the Aldebaran sector, Sub-Commander Lax reported. Same pattern. They appear from hyperspace with no warning, target our engines and communication systems, and disappear before reinforcements arrive. How many ships? Krex demanded. Just one, Commander. Always the same vessel identification. They call it Nemesis. Impossible. No single ship could move so quickly between these attack points. Krex's mandibles clicked rapidly in frustration. They must have developed some new hyperspace technology. Increased security on all Vraxian research facilities. We cannot allow them to steal more of our technology. Commander, Lax said hesitantly, there's something else. Analysis of recent attack patterns suggests they're not random. The humans appear to be systematically isolating Vrax Prime from its defensive outposts. Krex's posture stiffened. You suggest these primitives are planning to attack our homeworld. Absurd. Even with stolen technology, they couldn't possibly. An alarm blared, cutting him off. The tactical officer's voice was tight with concern. Commander, hyperspace ruptures detected. multiple signatures emerging directly inside our defense perimeter. On the display, 12 points of light appeared around Vrax Prime. 12 sleek, predatory ships of human design, but incorporating unmistakable elements of Vraxian technology. Impossible, Krex exclaimed. No ship can plot hyperspace jumps with that precision. The calculations would. Commander, the communications officer interrupted. We're receiving a transmission from the lead human vessel. The main screen activated, showing the face of a human female. General Maya. Chen's eyes were cold as she regarded the Vraxian commander. Hi, Commander Krex. You were warned about us, but you didn't listen. You came to our world uninvited. You killed our people. You thought we would break. She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. We've spent 5 years studying your technology, your tactics, your weaknesses. We've learned how you think, how you fight, what you fear. She leaned closer to the camera. The Vraxian Empire prides itself on never forgetting an insult, on carrying grudges for generations. But you've never encountered a species with a longer memory than humanity. The tactical display showed the human vessels moving into attack formation around Vrax Prime. We're not here to destroy your world, Chen continued. We're not like you. We're here to end your ability to threaten anyone ever again. Your fleet is scattered. Your defenses are compromised. And now, you have a choice. Chen's expression hardened. Surrender all forces occupying Earth and withdraw to your homeworld. Agree to permanent confinement within your home system, monitored by automated beacons of our design, or watch as we dismantle your empire piece by piece, ship by ship, world by world. We have patience, we have time, and we will never, ever stop. The screen went dark, leaving Krex staring at the tactical display as the human vessels took up positions around Vrax Prime's orbital defenses. Sub-Commander Lax's voice was quiet. Commander, analysis confirms their weapons systems could penetrate our planetary shields, and our long-range scans show more human vessels emerging from hyperspace at our major colonial outposts. They've coordinated a simultaneous strike across our entire empire. Krex's mandibles worked silently as he considered his options. His proud species had never surrendered in their 1,000-year history of conquest, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity. The Selveri xenopsychologist was right, he finally said, his voice carrying the Vraxian equivalent of weary resignation. We should have heeded the warning. 6 months later, in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, a historic moment unfolded. For the first time, a human representative stood at the speaking platform. General Maya Chen, now serving as Earth's ambassador, addressed the assembled civilizations. Distinguished representatives of the Galactic Council, I come before you today not to seek retribution for the Council's failure to prevent the Vraxian attack on Earth, but to ensure such a tragedy never befalls another developing world. The chamber was silent as she continued. The Vraxian Empire has been contained to their home system. Their fleet has been dismantled. Earth has begun its recovery, though the scars of invasion will remain for generations. She paused, looking around the chamber, meeting the gaze of many representatives. Humanity requests formal admission to the Galactic Council, not merely for our benefit, but because we believe the galaxy needs a reminder of what happens when warnings go unheeded and aggression goes unchecked. Telvin, now the lead council elder, stepped forward. The council recognizes Earth's application. While traditional protocols would require a probationary period for a newly interstellar civilization, these are exceptional circumstances. The vote was nearly unanimous. Earth would join the council immediately, and a new protocol was established. The human warning, as it came to be known throughout the galaxy. Attack a developing civilization at your own peril. For some species, once provoked, will never stop hunting until justice is served. In the years that followed, the former Vraxian Empire gradually rebuilt under Council supervision, humbled by their encounter with humanity. Earth's recovery continued, its cities rising from the ashes of invasion. And among the stars, the vessels of Project Nemesis remained vigilant, a reminder to all spacefaring civilizations that some warnings should never be ignored. As for humanity, their rapid advancement didn't slow after the conflict ended. Having been thrust into a larger universe through violence, they were determined to explore it through peace, but they never forgot the lesson they had taught the galaxy, that the true measure of a civilization's strength lies not in its technology or military might, but in its unbreakable will to endure, adapt, and overcome.